The neighborhood development meeting will be called to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Moore, Alderman Villa.
Here.
Alderman Ornowitz.
Here.
Alderwoman Ingrassia.
Present.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Murphy.
Here.
Alderwoman Spencer. Chairman Boyd.
Present.
Alderman Moore. Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Spencer. 5 present, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Board bill before us, Board Bill 293, sponsored by Alderwoman Ingrassia.
Has anyone seen Zach? He's got all the papers.
There's
That's Shane.
There he is. Right there.
there's Zach right there.
Okay.
There he is.
John. Morning, Shane.
Good morning.
What are you doing in here?
Waiting for my committee to start, since you all are running late.
Emma left the car on E.
Does that mean extra?
Yeah. You too.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, my fingers are cold. They're not working. So we're back here today. We had to do a little bit of work on the financial impact report to accurately reflect the financing. So we've added the historic tax credits. Give you a minute to look over that, and then happy to take questions, and Jonathan Ferry is here as well. What we had before us the other day was only on the infill site at the Y. It didn't include both projects.
John, do you mind taking a seat? Where's John? Would you please?
Sure.
Just out of clarification again, explain the project grade, the stars, the scale on the stars.
It's a 5-star rating, so it's for example, on this one for this 2232 South Grand, it says 4 3/4 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is an Excel program, so it doesn't have a partial star option in it, so I have to do the
So we couldn't see it
Okay.
anyway, so we got.
yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if that was 1 out of 4 stars or 1 and 3 out of 4 stars. Okay.
Yeah, it's 4 3/4 out of 5 and 4 1/4 out of 5. Maybe I should put decimal points. Maybe that'd be.
Okay, let's go around the. Do you have? Oh, she got. Carrie has information. Okay, let's go around the room and ask some questions. Alderman Villa.
I don't have any questions at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Alderman Arnowitz.
No, Mr. Chairman, I don't have any questions.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Yeah, just one, Alderwoman, it says here, up to 10-year tax abate negotiations are ongoing to establish amount of years, so it may not be the 10 years. I just haven't seen that on one before. I mean, it's interesting, you know. I should be. Okay, no, I was just curious.
I can tell you that the reports were run as if it was 10 years full tax abatement.
Okay.
So it shows sort of like the worst case scenario, if you will, to the city.
Getcha.
We were, I don't know why that's on there now. We were talking about 5 at 100 and 5 at 50, and we determined that we wanted 10 full. So this is different. I don't know who added that. I don't generate these. No, you're fine.
Is it all?
That's, yes, yeah,
Okay.
that's-
Alderwoman Spencer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I wanted to echo your confusion with these stars. I've mentioned this before. I think it might be worthwhile. I know it's kind of nitpicky, but I find it confusing often.
Okay.
So perhaps it would be better to
Decimal
just write
points
out,
or-
4.75 out of 5.
okay.
And that way we can really see. I have been
Yeah, I can do
incorrect in my assumptions about the stars. But along with that, I would like to respectfully request the rubric under which you determine the number of stars. I'm asking because while this is a very attractive project and one that we can agree will be very good for that section of South Grand, it is a bit alarming to me that a project in a MV and A area A would still manage to eke out almost all available stars. Not that this project is a bad one, but I'm curious how the MV&A even plays in if it didn't seriously provide a detriment to the scoring rubric here. And wanting to ensure that we are incentivizing projects and grading them based on their need, I think it's important to share with this committee the rubric, the star rubric. Could we
Yeah.
request that, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely. That would be helpful, because I was gonna ask if there was some way that we could have a worksheet where we could follow through the process as well, so that we
Sure.
can clearly understand what we're reading. I think I've been around a little bit where I can kind of interpret, but like Alderwoman Spencer said, you may make the wrong interpretation without actually knowing the definition of how you
Sure.
work through the numbers. That would be helpful.
Does the MV&A play into that scoring rubric?
It's a variable in there, yes, but it's,
So it's only one, so is that the missing one quarter of a star?
no, it's more, it's a variable within a larger formula. So the formula is based off of, trying to calculate how much revenue needs to be generated on a per acre of land, basis, in order for the city to be able to cover all of its financial needs. And so calculating how much it needs to generate per acre of land was based off of data that I have that shows roughly how much sales tax we generate per acre of land by neighborhood where it's located in and by land use type. And then where MVA comes in is that within my within that calculation, the narrowest I could go on sales tax was at the zip code level, because that's the narrowest data point that I have. I don't have sales tax data down to the neighborhood level. And so MVA comes in to basically act as a distinguisher between, within the same zip code, between areas that are relatively stronger and weaker, if that makes any sense.
Is this a rubric that other cities use? Was this developed in-house?
It was developed in-house.
I really think it's important that we understand how we're grading projects, because we rely on them when we have 20 before us and we're trying to quickly get through things. And I mean, I can appreciate the complexity here, and something I think maybe in the next session we should take a look at before we get too deep into.
I have a technical
process.
memorandum that I wrote
I mean,
up.
it seems really technical and really
Yeah.
impressive, and I think it would maybe
Yeah.
help us to appreciate it more if we could take a look
Yeah, I mean,
at it.
it might be easier to schedule a meeting because, like I said, my technical memorandum that I wrote up is about 25 pages long, and it's it's basically just a bunch of math formulas. So
I wanted to
I
add too on the
love that.
MVA, it's not distilled block, it's at 10 block increments, and so this sits in Compton Heights. But the actual corridor of South Grand in which this area, or which this project sits, is not doing well. So I think it's a
Well-
bit of a misnomer to have it marked as an A.
Well, having lived previously on that block, I think it isn't Slumville. I mean, it's a nice.
It's not the 3,800 block of South.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's a pretty nice. But in any case, this is a really nice project, and one I think will certainly improve that block. So if Jonathan wouldn't mind sharing
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
I
I
think
could
it
send the
would be
technical
helpful.
memorandum out to you guys, and I could send you the formulas too.
Not yet. It's
It's-
the neighborhood.
Well,
You're okay.
I think we can schedule a meeting where we just kind of
Sure.
talk about it.
Do you mind sharing that memorandum with
Yeah, I
us?
can
Okay,
share the
and I'm sorry to kind of focus on that, I think, and so the numbers were updated, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Alderwoman Ingrassia, if you could remind us.
The
last-
tax credits are added now. It was the last impact statement just had the Y site, and this is both the Y and the Pelican together.
And so there are no historic tax credits being used, or,
Not on the Grand, on the next one, on the Pelican.
I didn't realize that there were
There's
two
two
states. There were two,
projects.
I thought these were combined into one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fortunately,
so-
one's residential, one's commercial, so I couldn't combine them. the way the
Oh, I
scorecard
understand.
works.
I understand. What would be, so how, what is the how is this currently assessed?
How is the site currently assessed? It's currently, the Pelican building is currently assessed commercial, and the YMCA site has been tax exempt.
So then, when we when we apply this tax abatement, is it going to be, will it be assessed at 0 for the duration?
They
Or
will
how
assess it at a residential rate. So they're gonna demolish the property. So what ends up happening is it depends on the timing. Usually, the way that I've seen it done in the past is they will demolish it, then get it reassessed, so they'll get it assessed at a really low rate.
Just if I may clarify, Jonathan, just real quick, it won't be at 0, and I don't believe it was at 0 in 2016.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't.
It won't, and it certainly won't be at 0 for 2017 because it was owned privately as of January 1st, 2017.
Right.
So without having that assessment, how do we calculate the different?
So the assessor's office gives an assessment, but they don't issue a tax bill. So there's an assessed value that we were able to use on it.
Okay. What is that? Is that listed on here?
It's it's where the base revenue is calculated from. It's, the base revenue it's about $2,900 a year to the city. So that's $29,600 over 10 years, so it's roughly $2,900 a year.
Wow, that's so low. Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Okay, Alderwoman Murphy.
No, I was gonna say, when part of the assessment is the time taken into account, the time that a place has, been vacant, and I know I go by there all the time, it's been an eyesore for such a long time, both of those places. So is that, obviously would have something, even though something is in back of it's doing wonderful, that area's been depressed for a long time.
That's, it's indirectly captured in the numbers because something that's been vacant for a really long time will usually have a really low base, property base, and then that reflects in the score. But it's not like a binary variable
Okay.
where it's on or off. It's been vacant for a long time or it hasn't, kind of thing.
Thanks.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, Alderwoman Ingrassia, you want to close?
Sure, in closing, I just ask for your favorable consideration on Board Bill 293. Move that we pass it out of committee.
It's been moved.
Second.
Second, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Moore, Alderman Villa,
Aye.
Alderman Arnowitz,
Aye.
Alderwoman Ingrassia.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Chairman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Moore, Alderwoman Tyus, 6 yes votes.
Board Bill 293 passed out of committee due pass recommendation. Thank you, committee members. Neighborhood Development is now adjourned.
Christine, can I borrow?